Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm cleaning the Fluval U2, U3 or U4 filter. And before I do that, I remove a small amount of cycled aquarium water. I explain in detail why I use tank water for cleaning the filter instead of tap water at the end of today's video. Next, I remove the filter from the tank, and before doing this, I always unplug it. And ideally, you should make sure that it never sucks in air. I personally color code all of my power plugs, so filters are blue, heaters are red, and aquarium lights have no color tag. This just makes it easier for me to know which cable belongs to which device. Once the filter is out, I place it in the sink, or wash tub or bucket. For demonstration purposes, I use a transparent glass bowl to show how much dirt and fish waste the filter contains by the end of this video. The next step is removing the inner filter module. This filter has 3 sections, 2 sponge filters on the left and right, and 1 biological filter in the middle. At this stage, I remove any large dirt or algae fragments, empty the filter completely, and then clean the outside. I use a new and unused kitchen sponge, and this is very important. The sponge or toothbrush that you use should have never been in contact with dishwashing chemicals, as residues could kill your animals and plants. And as you can see, my Fluval U2 filter is covered in biofilm, since my shrimp breeding tank also has a lot of biofilm in it. You don't need to remove it entirely, but I choose to clean it just to get rid of larger algae clumps that could block the water flow of the Fluval U2 filter. You can clearly see which side faced the aquarium light and which side faced the wall. One side is completely covered in algae and biofilm, while the other one looks almost new. I then set the filter aside and start cleaning the filter media. I begin with the biological filter media, which is called BioMax. First, I open the smallest of the 3 blue containers, the one that was in the middle before, and remove the BioMax stones. I then add tank water and shake them gently. If needed, you can hold the container in a bucket of water and shake it by hand. Put the BioMax stones into the container, close it, and clean any remaining algae or dirt from the container with a fine brush or with a toothbrush. According to Fluval's instructions, the biological filter media, the BioMax, should be replaced monthly. And once it's clean, you can set it aside. Next, I take the 2 larger blue containers and remove the sponge filters. I clean the container with a brush, set it aside, and repeat that process for the second one. Now it's time to clean the filter sponges. I remove large algae chunks by hand, then rinse the sponges in the previously collected and cycled tank water. And in my experience, filter sponges can be reused 2 to 3 times, meaning they can last 6 months or even longer. Some aquarists replace one sponge first and the second sponge a month later to preserve as much beneficial bacteria as possible. I don't choose to do that, but you can if you want to go very sure. As you can see, once the sponges are done, the water turns dark brown. This is fish waste, uneaten food, and other organic matter. By the way, it's a great fertilizer for your houseplants. In the last step, I reassemble the filter. When reinstalling the sponges, place the light colored sponge in first, followed by the darker one. You may need to apply a bit of pressure, but they should basically slide in easily. If they don't, open the small lid at the bottom of the blue container and insert the sponges from below. Then they have to slide in easily. Now take the clean, dry filter and hold it upright. Let the 3 containers slide back in. They should drop into place without force. If they don't, you can watch the video on the top right corner where I explain the initial setup of the Fluval U2 filter. Basically, you can remember that you have to be able to close the lid in the next step, otherwise you put them in the wrong way. I then close the filter lid and give it a final wipe with a cloth. Then I attach the filter to its filter stand and place it back into the aquarium. Once it's fully submerged, I plug it back in and it starts running again. Occasionally, it doesn't start immediately. In that case, a gentle tap on the midsection, this is where the rotor sits, usually helps. This rarely happens, but sometimes it does, and then just give it a small gentle tap and it will work. Now, as promised, here's why I like to use cycled tank water for filter maintenance and not tap water. You should always clean aquarium filter media with old water, old tank water, never tap water, to preserve the beneficial bacteria that breaks down fish wastes and maintains a stable nitrogen cycle. Tap water contains chlorine, which kills these bacteria and can lead to ammonia or nitrite spikes that harm fish. During water changes, you can just use a bucket of tank water to rinse the sponges and media, squeezing out debris without making them look brand new, but clean. Clean the other parts, like the impeller, with tank water as well. Another reason is livestock safety. If small animals like baby fish or shrimp fry are trapped in the filter, which happens so many times in my tanks, cleaning it with tap water can shock and kill these animals. If you clean it with cycled tank water instead, you can just net out the fish and put them back into your tank, and there's no shock at all. Using cycled tank water avoids this risk. And this marks the end of today's video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel, and I'm sure you'll also enjoy the fish room tour with my 4 favorite builds of the year 2025 on the right, or the video on the left hand side.